Hey everyone. Um, so let's talk about boots. Let's talk about footwear. Um, I have some opinions on footwear that might go against current conventional wisdom. I look at boots for a different order, so it might deviate a little bit from what I'm saying, and there's a reason for that. Part of being scent free and not making any noise is your feet are going to be the ones that tend to get either cold first or second. So I tend to have a different strategy when it comes to boots. My strategies are this. I don't tend to hunt with rubber boots like they do. It seems like everyone's wearing rubber boots now, and it's got to go almost under your knee. I find that to be extremely uncomfortable looking. It seems to me that it would cause some extreme irritations to me. So I'm only talking about myself here. I tend to like the regular, boots that are about this high, so past your ankle, regular boots that you see hunting. I don't like anything high. I don't want anything rubbing. I need boots that have a lot of traction. Those rubber boots are hit or miss with traction. The rubber boots are hit or miss for warmth, but they're excellent at being scent free. If they would make a boot that had great grips, that had a lot of insulation, that wasn't so high, I'd probably be buying them today. I haven't seen too many, to be honest with you. It seems like everything's an extreme. Either they're really high or they're really low, and that's exactly what I want. So I tend to gravitate towards a hybrid that has leather, that has some waterproof capabilities, but have a lot of grip. So my boots have to have excellent traction, and they have to be warm. And then from there, it kind of flexible. Now, because of that, I tend to use boots with very hard soles that kind of counteract with my stealthiness going through the woods from hunting, but it's a compensation thing. If something is super warm, it tends to have that clobbiness to it or clogginess to it. So I gotta accept that for what it is. So I tend to not use the rubber boots that you see nowadays. And last year, the boot I had was a Snow Claw by Ella Bean. I had to return that because it actually fell apart on me. And I guess the reason why they don't make it is because it happened to everyone else. And apparently I took care of mine really well. So I was in the market and I bought from the Muck Company. They make those slip-ons and it's not as high. I just put it on when I got it. I think it was on Thursday or Friday. And I don't know if I'll be using that as well. So I might have to go back to that strategy. I made an attempt to get something that I thought was almost a compromise, but it might not work. Again, having said that, you might see me with it. I might not return it because usually that's how I roll. I try to make do with what I have. But I'll probably venture to Freeport and exchange it for something else. I looked online to see if they have anything else, and there's a few things I might be interested in it. But I might even get those type of boots that I not necessarily want. It might be the rubber kind, but it really does have to have a lot of Thinsulate in it, what they call Thinsulate. And it has to have good traction. So if it doesn't get those things, I'm probably not going to consider it. Plus, another thing is if it's too high and if it's rubber, that's going to create a lot of heat. So when I walk in the woods, I'm going to overheat, guaranteed. So it's things to keep in mind when you're buying a boot when it comes down to that. If you're still hunting, so if you're walking in the woods, completely different. You want something completely different. You want traction, but you don't necessarily want warmth. You probably still want something waterproof. So that's another thing to think about. So I didn't mention it before in my other videos, but it's because I'm not in line with everyone else necessarily. I know leather is not necessarily a great thing, but I do use it for my hunting boots, and those are the reasons why. So with that said, when I approach the woods, or I get into the woods, I spray the daylights out of it with my scent neutralizing spray. So I do. I'm aware of my inconsistencies, but I also try to make concessions for that or mitigate those risks, which is scent. So I do spray a lot of those things. So hopefully that helps. In terms of price range, you can probably get one on. You can probably get a boot with that not necessarily is rubber, that doesn't capture everything. There's some classic boots out there. I think Ella Bean makes a classic boot that's a little bit more aggressive traction that might be acceptable. And the reason, getting back to one of the points that I shouldn't miss in this video is when you walk on dry leaves or walk on wet leaves, or if you walk on any sort of mixed terrain or in the snow, you want something with a lot of traction. That's why I find that to be one of the most important things, because you don't want to fall on your butt in the woods with all this gear and so forth. So that's why I really make sure it has a lot of traction. So when I see a leather boot or any boot without any traction, without any strong grips on the sides, completely useless in my opinion on how I hunt. You might as well just walk around on bare feet, in my opinion. That's how bad I think that is for my situation. I hunt on slopes, I hunt in ravines, I hunt in bogs. There's a whole bunch of terrain in there that's not favorable for those type of slippery boots, and trust me, I've hunted in those, and I have those in my house that I can't walk anywhere with them. I literally would fall. So because of the slopiness of the terrain and so forth, I always try to find boots that have grips on them. So that's something to keep in mind. It might have the right manufacturer that you like. It might be warm as you want. But if you can't really use it, then what's the use? So something to think about if you're trying to get into hunting. Price ranges anywhere from, you can get probably something on sale or on discount or discontinued for like $70-$80 to anywhere up to $200 in this in any one of those type of brands. So something to think about, and it's quite of an investment, so make sure it's comfortable. You can put an extra pair of socks on if you need to. It gives you enough traction in the woods, and it keeps you warm. So hopefully that helps, and thank you very much.
Pushing on the forest floor, my heart rate jumps even more. Looking for the buck to fill my tag, straight out of a hunting bag. Drop time 14, making his way down. It's time for his last showdown. Breathe in, breathe out, hold it, fire away.